One is for you and one for me. Here's one for you. Okay, so would you like to introduce yourself?
I'll introduce myself.
Yes.
Well, first of all, thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it. My name's David Oates. I'm the founder and developer of reverse speech. What I plan to do tonight is to present the theory of reverse speech, play lots of examples, talk about some of the applications and implications of this technology, and I hope you'll agree with me that this is a very exciting field, and I hope I can get you all interested in perhaps pursuing it a little bit further. I've been pursuing this field for 27 years now. It started for me back in Australia in 1984. I hope you can hear me through my accent. And I was running a halfway house for street kids in Australia. I'm a youth worker by profession. And there was an evangelist from the United States travelling through. He was preaching that rock and roll was the devil's music. And if you played records backwards, you could hear these hidden messages amongst the records. And I had a whole bunch of kids in my office, and they were been turning their records backwards and hearing these strange messages. And they wanted to know what I thought about the whole thing. Well, I was rather incredulous. It was rather ridiculous, to be honest. And but I'm an electronics buff, and I went home that night and rewired a tape player to run some records backwards, primarily to show the kids that there was nothing to this. And much to my surprise, I heard some of the very first songs I looked at what I thought was some clear backward messages. And I'm going to play you some of these in music, and then we're going to get on to the more significant occurrence of reverse speech, and that's in speech. Alright, this is Creedence Clearwater Revival. Oh, I think it might be a little bit loud. Let's just note that volume. It was down in Louisiana, just about a mile from Texarkana, in them old cotton fields back. Alright, I'm going to run in reverse. I'm going to run it at 3 speeds. See if you can hear him singing I Believe in My Cool Woman. And again. Can you all hear that there?
Yeah.
And let's run the whole lot backwards, and you'll hear the backward message, and then it goes into gibberish. Okay, so you can hear the message, and then it goes into gibberish. Now this is not an engineered or technical trick. This is straight forwards and straight backwards. There's no intentional manipulation of the soundtrack. Here's one on Elvis Presley. This is a love song. Run this in reverse, and he sings backwards, I love you, mother. Do you hear that there?
Yeah.
Which is a sort of message not surprising to hear coming from Elvis Presley. We all know his well-known love of his mother. And here's another one from Elvis Presley. This is in a live concert he did in the 1970s. It's yeah, this one, see if you can hear this one without me telling you. Listen very carefully. What's he singing backwards? Can you hear anything there? What do you say? They know I'm sick. I'll put it again. You hear that there?
Yeah.
And of course we know that Elvis Presley had died. He was quite sick. We don't know why he was sick, but anyway.
So his message was deliberate.
Sorry?
His message was deliberate.
Oh no, that's not deliberate. That's what we call a phonetic reversal. It's not a deliberate message. It was built into the song the way the song was sung.
Well, it would reflect how he was likely feeling doing a show in front of a lot of people, knowing that he didn't look his best and wasn't feeling, because in the 70s he really went downhill rather quickly.
Yeah.
So he may have been self-conscious about that
I have a
and
question
made that statement.
about one of his songs. You know, Unchained Melody was sung by so many people. Is it the same message then with other people
You know
singing
what, I
the
haven't-
same song?
I haven't checked Unchained Melody to see whether the same message is there. I would presume it's not though. I've looked at different songs sung by different artists and you get a message in one song but not the other. It depends on how the song is sung. It's the actual words and the intonation, not the words, the intonation and the melody that creates the reverse message. So, but I haven't checked this particular song out. Point of fact, we were going to do that and we haven't done it yet, so I'm a bit remiss in that. But anyway, I was quite shocked to find all these background messages in music. I wasn't expecting. I was really expecting to find absolutely nothing. And over the next few months, I ran my whole musical collection backwards, and rumours went through the town I was living in. David Oates was listening to records backwards, and it was all quite amusing. All right, so here we have another one from Creedence Clearwater Revival. And this one says, here woman, I'll keep on the path.
Here woman, I'll
Did you hear that one there? So I was absolutely fascinated by this whole thing, and in about 3 months I must have done hundreds of songs backwards, and finding backward messages on every second or third song I looked at will contain a fairly clear backward message. Then a few months later, I accidentally stumbled across it in normal human speech, and I never even considered that it would occur in speech. And I'd gone down to my local record store. I got a compilation of famous radio broadcasts. I was actually looking for songs from the early 20s and 30s, and I was running the whole track backwards and came across this famous soundtrack from Neil Armstrong, Walking on the Moon.
One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
You all know his famous first word, and you run it in reverse, and he says, man will spacewalk.
Man will spacewalk. Man will spacewalk.
Do you want to hear that now?
Man will spacewalk.
Well, I was stunned. It's one thing to hear it in music, sort of like a strange little occurrence, but to suddenly hear it occurring in normal human speech adds a whole different slant to it. So I started taping speech. And I'm going to run you an example from a regular everyday conversation. Alright, let's run this forwards.
This is just one of many, many lifetimes where we are here to develop the soul, basically. And when that is achieved, the soul will ascend.
Alright, and run this at 3 speeds. Listen carefully. What's he saying backwards?
I love you to stay.
I love you to stay. I love you to stay.
What do you hear?
I love each day.
I love each day. Yeah, exactly right. I love each day. Let's run the whole lot backwards and you'll hear the gibberish, and then there's very clear I love each day. I want you to notice how it's got a very melodic sing-song tone to it, and a genuine speech verse will have this melodic sing-song tone. So listen to this.
Nestor was the fish, is the animal man. You say I love you to stay. How you
Can you hear that amongst the gibberish there? I love each day. Let's look at another one, and then I'm going to get on to my theory and what I think all this means. Here we have another one from a normal everyday conversation, and it's the woman who's talking about her love life.
It's just the weird part, you know, which I guess kept to myself, is that I'm noticing. I get this, like when I met Michael, I was immediately attracted to him and I wanted him and I still want him, not as strongly, and I won't go there over to his house or anything. I know how bad it is. But there's this pull for the bad guy.
Okay, I'm going to run this at 3 speeds. Listen carefully. What's she saying backwards?
I want him in.
I want him in. I want him in.
You obviously heard that. I want a man. For those who missed it, I'll run it again.
I want him in.
I want him in. I want him in.
And let's run the whole lot backwards, and you'll hear it amongst the gibberish. Can you hear that amongst the gibberish there? And if you take any section of human speech and run it in reverse, about once every 15 or 20 seconds, you can hear a very clear phrase amongst the gibberish, as clear as I'm playing these ones to you now. And it's my contention that this is what we are thinking and feeling at the time of speaking. I've written the theory, which I entitled The Theory of Reverse Speech and Speech Complementarity. And my theory basically states that the process of spoken communication is twofold. As all of us are speaking, we're creating the sounds of our speech in such a way that we are saying two things at once. One is coming forward from the conscious mind, which is obviously how I'm speaking to you now, and the other one is in reverse from the unconscious mind. I maintain this is a natural functional language. All of us are doing it all the time, every time we speak. It occurs more in emotional situations. It occurs less in public speech. In the public speech, you might only find reversals, backward messages about once every 2 or 3 minutes. But normal conversation about once every 15 seconds. Yes.
Now, is that just for the English language, or is that for every language?
I've trained students who are bilingual in Spanish, German and French, and we've found it in all of those 3 languages. So I would presume, if the theory holds true, you would expect it would occur in every language. But I've only looked at English, German, Spanish and French so far. Yeah. Okay, here we have a politician, Bob Dole, resigning from the Senate to run against Bill Clinton.
You do not lay claim to the office you hold. It lays claim to you. Your obligation is to bring to it the gifts you can of labor and honesty, and then to depart with grace.
Okay, what's he saying backwards?
It's an honor. It's an honor.
What do you hear?
It's an honor.
It's an honour.
Yeah, it's an honour.
Right. So we have a case of an honest politician. It's an honour to work for the Senate. And here's the whole lot backwards.
Here's the world with a minute. It's an honor to be able to receive your booth here.
There it is, right in amongst the gibberish there. So I wrote my theory in October of 1987. I released my first book on the topic. It's my second book that people are flipping through there. I released my first book on the topic and issued a press release, and the Australian media picked it up and announced it as a discovery of the seventh sense. And I was immediately on all the TV stations all across Australia, and I had quite a lot of coverage. Here we have, this is a backward message, or speech reverse we call it, found on our Prime Minister Bob Hawke, who he had just won re-election, and he ran on the campaign that he'd given up drinking and womanising and all his wayward lifestyle. And the reporter says, well, how do you plan to celebrate? And he says, several cups of tea.
Several cups of tea.
And backwards he says, he used to smoke the best marijuana.
Yes, the smoke the best marijuana.
You want to hear that there? So what we are doing is we are tapping into some of his thought, what he used to do back in his early days when he celebrated. And that went all across Australia, on all the national media, and I was...
You didn't like it? Nice. You didn't his best friend?
No, you probably didn't. No. I was contacted by a young man who, once I went public in Australia, contacted by a young man who wanted to market my books for me. So he contacted me and we sat down to have a business discussion, and I thought to myself, well, I wonder if I can trust this guy or not. I've got this tool here, let's tape him and let's see what his reversals tell me. So here we have part of our conversation.
Yes, I agree with you. I agree. That way we contain sole rights to the books. In channel to us. Now, I don't know what way can be publishing this book?
And backwards he says, I'm so full of shit. You can hear this.
Thanks, I'll flash you.
Hear that there? Obviously, not a man you want to do business with. And here we have the whole lot.
That's interesting.
Backwards. Oops, sorry. I'll play it again. Can you hear how these reversals just jump out of the gibberish? I mean, you know, we're not trying to get isolated sounds and congeal them together to make something. They come out in very clear and precise sentences. They're usually 4 or 5 words in length. Sometimes they'll be as many as 8 or 10, but they're normally quite short, normally 4 or 5 words. And they appear to be a reflection of what is going on in the person's mind at the time of speaking. Here we have a chap named Scott Peterson. He's currently sitting on death row in California and for the murder of his wife. And here he is on TV before the trial, and the reporter says to him, "Did you murder your wife?"
Did you murder your wife? No, I did not.
So he denies the crime. No, I did not. And backwards, he says, "Neck, I hit hard."
Neck, I hit hard. Neck, I hit hard.
Can you hear that there? Now, when his wife's body was found, she was decapitated. She washed up on the head, and they never found the head. So I presume what we are doing is we are flashing back as he's denying the crime. He's remembering what he did, and he hit her hard on the back of the neck.
It's a subliminal message then.
So?
Sort of a subliminal message.
Well, I don't like the word subliminal. Subliminal implies manufactured. But yes, it's a subliminal message, except it's automatically created by the unconscious mind as it's speaking. And it's subliminally invested to our speech. Yeah. And it's it's the thoughts that you are aware of having at the time of speaking. So, let's play another example. Here we have, we've just looked at some applications in forensics. Here we have mother of John Benet Ramsey, little beauty cream, was murdered in Boulder, Colorado. And she's on TV saying she feels there's at least 2 people out there who knows who committed this crime.
We feel like there are at least 2 people on the face of this earth that know who did this. And that is the killer and someone that person may have confided in.
And backwards, she tells us who the person is. Listen very carefully what she's saying backwards.
I'm interested.
What do you hear?
I'm the person?
Yeah. I'm that person.
I'm this person, yeah.
I'm that person. Here it is again. Now, we don't know whether she's the person who committed the crime or the person who knows.
Right. I mean, because it's such an odd thing to say. We feel that there's 2 people that know what happened. The person that committed it and someone that person may have confided in. So it's...
Yeah, and it's on the person. Ooh.
So here's that reversal again for those who missed it. I'm that person. And here's a whole lot backwards. Running it backwards.
Again, the newest
We've just got gibberish up till now.
And the person get below me Christian.
Oh.
Oh, I'm not sure. The exact chords? Okay, here is the reversal.
And the person.
And here it is backwards, forward.
This earth that no.
This earth that no.
And the person.
So there we are. So that's a classic one. I have worked for the police on about half a dozen cases. Once in Australia, twice in Dallas. In the case I worked on in Australia, they were looking for the murder weapon, and the reversals on the suspect said it was in the cellar, and the police went and checked the cellar, and they found the gun exactly where the reversals said it would be. So let's look at another well-known murder case. This is a case of Joran van der Sloot, the young man from Aruba who was suspected in the disappearance of Natalie Holloway. And here he is being interviewed by a reporter on TV.
Because of them had a driver's license, but not all of them.
And this one here, see if you can hear what this one says.
Well, I'm heard of.
What do you hear?
I'm a murder.
I'm a murder.
What a murder.
What did he say?
Oh, hang on. Well, I'll play the reverse again, then I'll check. Well, hang on. Here's the. I'll play the reversal first. What a murder.
Well, I'm heard of.
Oh yeah.
You hear it now?
What a murder.
You'll hear this clearer as the night goes on. It's learning to hear reverse speech. You've really got to tune your ears. They have a different accent to them. It's like trying to learn someone to speak with a thick accent. They've got a very sing-song melodic cadence to it. And it takes me about a year or two to train someone to the level where they can hear them accurately. So there he has What a Murder, and here he is talking about her again.
So clearly enough, they want to go clear anyone else involved with it that doesn't deserve to be.
And this one says dead near the water.
Dead near the water.
Dead near the water.
In point of fact, that's actually longer than that. It actually says dead near the water slug. Did anyone hear that?
Yeah. Oh,
in prison? Well, he wasn't in prison too. Anyway, so there we go. So dead near the water slut. So he's giving us more information about the crime. She was near the water, and here he gives us even more information.
Did Deepak had a job when was a year ago? Where was he working?
He was working at the internet cafe.
And here he says, yes, I got rid of the clothes we had.
Yes, I had to make those we had.
Can you hear that there? So while the polygraph will tell us whether they're lying or telling the truth, reverse speech will go one step further, and it will tell us whether they committed the crime. It will tell us the name of accomplices in crime. It will tell us where the murder weapon is hidden. It will how they did it, water. Absolutely, all of that stuff. It is a direct attack into our thought processes. What we are thinking and feeling at the time of speaking has the potential to veer backwards in our speech. Alright, let us digress momentarily, and I want to look at some reversals in children. As soon as I can get my computer to respond, it's non-responsive. Hang on one sec. Any questions? Well, I'm waiting for my computer to respond. Yes?
How long does it take to decode the message, or does it just pop out right away?
Sorry?
How long does it take to decode the message, or does it just pop out right away?
You'll hear, if you tape for three or four minutes and just run that tape backwards, you'll hear a message within 30 seconds or a minute. They're happening that frequently. So.
How do you just type in a message and then just you type in the message and where you type in the message?
Oh well, you're not typing it in. You're literally what you're doing is you're recording speech, and you're literally running the tape backwards.
Really?
and you're just running it straight backwards. And when you're running it backwards, you'll hear these phrases every 15 or 20 seconds amongst the debris.
Wow.
Yeah.
And do you run it in reverse at the same speed that you're running it forward initially?
I slow it down. Like these examples I've played here, I've played them at 3 different speeds. I run my tapes about 15% slower. I find them easier to pick out that way. That's just a preference that I have. So the software that we've developed runs the tapes in reverse and at slower speed. Okay, I think my computer's responding here. Alright, I want to, before I move on to kids, I just want to play one other funny one. Here we have a religious evangelist who's preaching a sermon.
Great things for him, and I can do great things today. My friend, it just narrows itself down what he said to Simon Peter, but the Sea of Galilee, lovest thou me.
And this one says, my advice is rancid. If you can hear this.
My advice is rancid. My advice is rancid.
Do you want to hear that there?
My advice is rancid.
And let's run the whole lot backwards. Okay, so this is what I'm doing. I'm literally running the tapes backwards. So here's that whole forward section run backwards.
You might